Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're gonna be learning about the MACD indicator. MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence, and it's basically like just a trend made of two trend lines, right? The MACD and the MACD signal line. So with the MACD, there's also a thing called the histogram. These lines right here, these are the histogram. These are the histograms. So this is a negative histogram, positive histogram, negative histogram, positive, negative, positive, positive, negative. So I'm just going to try to simplify this as much as I possibly can. So when the MACD crosses its signal line, we have a positive histogram. So let's start from the beginning over here. So once the MACD crossed its signal line, the red line is the signal line, the MACD is the blue line. So once the blue line, which is the MACD, crossed its signal line, which is the red line, we see a positive histogram. Now, once the blue line went under the signal line, the blue line is the MACD. Once the MACD went under the signal line, we see a negative histogram. Then over here, the MACD went above the signal line, we see a positive histogram. Then over here, it went under the signal line, we start to see a negative histogram. And so on. So positive right here because it went above it, we see positive. Then under it again, we see negative histogram. Positive, and then it went over it again, and then we see positive histogram. So the crossover method, which is probably the most common method I would say, is to play when the MACD crosses its signal line because that's bullish. It's bearish when the MACD signal line is basically above the MACD. So when the MACD goes under the signal line, that's bearish. So what we want is a crossover when the MACD crosses the signal line. That's almost like a golden cross in a chart. But in this case, the MACD is crossing a signal line like right here. This scenario exactly. So I'm just going to snip this real quick. So this part right here. So once we see this MACD, once it crossed its signal line, look what happened to the chart. That's really bullish right there. That's a bullish signal, and many people use that in their trading like every day. So what we want is for the MACD to cross its signal line. That's what we want. We don't want the MACD to go under its signal line, which is what happened right here. So let me snip this again. So right here, the MACD, the blue line, went under its signal line, and look what happened to the chart. It started breaking downwards. So that's what we don't want to happen. And this is the crossover method. When the MACD crosses its signal line, that's what the crossover method is. So when the MACD breaks its signal line, bullish. MACD goes under the signal line, we see the chart, and then over here again. This is the second time it's crossed. So once we cross it again, the MACD crosses the signal line. Look what happens to the chart. So that's the crossover method. That's probably the most common way. There's other ways to play with the MACD, like the divergence method. MACD divergence method. Let me see if I can get a nice picture. Hold up. Okay, yeah, this is perfect. So the yellow line right here is the signal line. The MACD is the blue line. So right here we had a crossover, right? The MACD broke its signal line, and we saw this uptrend. This is its high right here. So here, I'm gonna snip this and I'm gonna pretend. Okay, there you go. Okay, so this is the high. This is the point where we have to break. Oh, sorry about that. This is basically our resistance right here. Let me just draw this. So the divergence method. So let's go over where we had the crossover method right here. So where is my mouse? Okay, there we go. So this is the crossover method. When the MACD breaks above its signal line, we had this bullish uptrend right here. This is a result of this right here. Now, there's another method called the divergence method. where basically we form higher highs on the chart. So this is the high of this point right here. Later on in the chart, we formed higher highs, which is right here. This is the high, and this is the high. That means we formed a higher high. But the MACD was not able to make, it basically wasn't able to make a higher high than its previous time. So this is the high of the MACD. This right here. And this time, it couldn't make a higher high. So the MACD is going to start crossing downwards, and it's going to start pointing downwards like this eventually, and the chart is going to just start, you know, tearing downwards a bit. But yeah, those are probably the most two common type of methods by the MACD. So this is the crossover method when the MACD just breaks the its signal line, and we had that over here again. Same thing. The MACD was under. This is positive. This is a positive histogram. It doesn't. We're not seeing the histogram here. I don't know why they didn't show it, but they probably just wanted to keep it simple. But when we broke, we saw this uptrend, then consolidated a little bit, and we are still trading above this the signal line, right? And we just couldn't break the previous high. And this is the divergence method. When the chart forms higher highs, but the MACD is not able to make higher highs. That's what the divergence method is. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just really the basics of the MACD. So if you guys want a summary real quick, this is the crossover method where we have the MACD. It crosses its signal line. The red line is the signal line. The blue line is the MACD. It crosses its signal line. We have a positive histogram. Then the MACD again, the blue line, goes under the red line. We have a negative histogram. That's bearish. Look what happened. Let me snip it again. That's bearish right here because right when the MACD crossed downwards under its signal line, we had a negative histogram and the chart was in downtrend. Then right when the MACD broke its signal line again, we had a positive histogram and the chart was up again. Then it went under again, negative histogram, then we broke it for a little bit. Okay, so I forgot to say also, the histogram basically represents the length between the MACD and its signal line. So right here, because there was such a little space, we had a really small histogram. But in this scenario right here, when there was a good amount of space, the histogram is like really tall. That's basically what these show right here. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Let me know if you have any questions, and yeah, just keep DMing me video ideas. I'll keep trying to make these as best as I possibly can. Alright, thank you for listening.